Welcome, everyone, to the first session for the Future Leaders Program for April 2024. My name is Zach Hewells. I'm the Membership Director at NAIFA. We have an exciting program for you today with Cheryl Canzanella from NAIFA, Florida. Cheryl is a former Young Advisor Team Leader of the Year and just an outstanding rock star of a volunteer for NAIFA. She has done a lot for the industry, and she is here to sort of share some insights into what this career in the insurance financial services world is all about. So without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to Cheryl. Feel free to throw any questions in the chat. And as I said before, feel free to come off camera as well. This can be a pretty interactive session. So thank you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it, Zach. I'd love for everybody, feel free to chime in. You don't have to do anything formal. Unmute yourself or send a chat. And Zach, hopefully you'll watch the chat just in case I miss anybody, but feel free to chime in. I'd love to make it as interactive as possible. And before we begin, it's great to see everybody from Slippery Rock joining us. But before we begin, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I think my name should be showing up on the screen, full name. Pretty easy to find on LinkedIn. And there's a lot of other people within NAIFA in this entire program that you're going to find and connect with as well. I would encourage you to connect with them on LinkedIn as well. They are more than willing to give you their time to help point you in the right direction, answer any questions that you have. So use this opportunity to connect with members that are already in the community, have the experience and the background to help you with even the smallest question. So it could be, as big or as small a question as possible, or as it is, and we are more than welcome or willing to help you as much as we can. So take full advantage of that as much as you can. So, and if you have cameras and stuff, feel free to turn them on so we can interact face-to-face as well. I am personally excited to be able to chat with you today and to share a little bit about this industry, and as we explore it, just get an idea of what I've experienced personally, but just the lay of the land, the lay of the career path in this industry. I feel like this industry hasn't had a direct career path. We've many of the people that you'll meet with over the next 4 weeks have kind of stumbled into the industry. For some, it might be their second or third career. But what I hope that you'll take away with, one of the things that you'll take away with today is that this can be a very rewarding career, not just financially fulfilling, but also emotionally as well. And the fact that there's a lot of people that need you in this industry. Most Americans right now are just not saving enough for retirement. I saw a recent survey that said between ages of 45 and 75 or 76 that felt like they just haven't saved enough to last for the rest of their lifetime. So this is a profession that is very much in need right now. They need guidance, and we can truly make an impact. And that's why I say emotional. We can truly make an impact on others and help them, live out their life comfortably and maintain their lifestyle. So, I think if you're comfortable with sales, you're great with people, communication, if you're great in doing, mathematical, analytical numbers, and you've got good communication, and especially working independently. If you can work independently and not have, that 9 to 5 mentality job where you're kind of mundane doing the same things over and over, but you've got no one looking over your shoulder, this might be a good industry for you. And another thing to think about is, even if one of those things I said, if you're not great in sales or don't even know if you're great in sales, but you've got excellent communication skills, you've got the ability to connect and empathize with people, and you really have a passion for helping people, all of the other things can fall in. All of the, the math skills, the analytical problem solving, all of that can really fall into place if you truly have a passion for what you're doing. And I would say that, again, the people that you're going to meet today, people you're going to meet over the next 4 weeks, including myself, have a passion for this industry, and it's not necessarily a financially motivated, but that the financial benefits come along with that passion. So I I believe this industry really is going to have a need for people like you coming in, new fresh faces, new ideas. Um, there's so many professionals in this industry right now that are on the verge of retirement. So I believe this industry is at the forefront of an increase of expected jobs over the next, 10 to 15 years. And from what I understand, it is a growing industry that's much faster than any of the other occupations out there. So there is not only a growing need for you in this industry, but just in general to help facilitate those that are just retiring out of the business, as well as the people that need more and more financial advice and are looking to find guidance and help. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about, did it change to the next slide? Because I didn't see.
No, it's still on that first one.
Okay. There we go. Okay,
Okay.
maybe I just had to click it twice. All right, I didn't think so. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk just a little bit about my career journey and why I feel like it's significant to share with you is because I've had a lot of roles, and so you'll see learn a little bit about me and why I feel like I've got the ability to talk on a lot of different levels on so many different areas of this career path. But we're also going to talk about the perception of the industry, what people think the industry entails and what it really entails. And we're going to talk about the challenges that you might face and the opportunities. And we're going to go from a kind of a career path and what steps to take and to help you making that change and transition from college to career. Some of the areas in which you could consider working among so many other areas, but we're going to focus on just a couple of key areas. We're going to talk about sales career paths of those, where you can work. What would it look like being in a sales career, and what does that path look like, and your options out there. And then I'm going to leave you with a couple of tips and things that I personally have found beneficial to me in my career, and things that I have shared with others that are considering getting into this business. And of course, questions. Again, you don't have to wait to the end. You can ask at any time. Feel free to chime in. To Zach on the chat or to myself, just audio, just chime in anytime. So this is just kind of an overview of my path in this industry. I've had a variety of different roles, and I personally feel that this career has been very good to me. Like I mentioned before, I fell into the industry. So at my time when I went to college, there was really no degrees focusing on the financial industry. And I don't know if there was a actual career path, if I would have chosen it. I wouldn't consider myself good with math. I didn't really excel in math among my peers in college. And I just didn't see myself as being a salesperson to begin with. So I don't know that it's a path I really would have pursued if it was available, but I just kind of fell into it like a lot of people that have been in this path or in this industry for a long time. I feel like, I'll tell you when I started, back in 1999, 25 years ago, I didn't even know what a stock or bond was. So I started with a company called Merrill Lynch, and I came on as a sales support person focusing on annuity sales. Didn't even know what an annuity was. So I had the ability to work within Merrill Lynch for 5.5 years, and I learned some of those skills with having conversations and creating relationships with financial advisors and helping them develop and help with sales within their clientele and helping to fit a product to solve a need for their clients. And then I moved over to VALIC, which I became a financial advisor all on my own. But I was working within the sheriff's office of the county that I was in at the time. And I had clients, I would sign them up for their 457, their deferred compensation plan. I would help them with some basic things on financial planning, but reality, I was really helping them save for retirement and making contributions into their company benefit plan. And I had a couple of different opportunities throughout that time, but eventually I found myself a little nervous about sales because I really didn't have control. They really weren't my clients. I wasn't building my own clients. So I had a chance to jump into supervisory role, which is in compliance. Thought I would climb the corporate ladder. I had the opportunity to kind of see behind scenes, how things work behind the front client facing opportunities. So I was on the back end in compliance, reviewing trades, looking at marketing, kind of getting a feel for giving an advisor a feel for what they can and cannot talk about, what they can and cannot do. People call compliance people like sales stoppers, and I felt an opportunity to really get to know that supervisory role and the importance of it, of that career path, but it just wasn't a role for me. So when I had an opportunity to get back out on the other side, I got into recruiting. I looked at helping people like you, students like you, consider getting into this industry and helping them understand what that would look like for them, compensation wise, client wise, education wise. And over the next 10 years, I worked with Mass Mutual, and I was a brokerage director. So I worked directly with financial professionals throughout the US, but helping them with life insurance, long-term care, annuities. So getting back in that sales position. And that's where I really feel that I truly excelled in my career, having the opportunity to really build a business. And most recently, I am here at Movement Mortgage. And what I'm doing here is a retirement solutions partner. And I feel really excited because this role is allowing me to bring a unique perspective, connecting to critical areas of financial planning. I'm extending the conversations beyond the traditional financial planning discussions, and I'm incorporating home equity as part of the financial planning process. So there's an enormous need right now to come up with creative ways to help clients maintain their lifestyle. And that's really where my role is now as a retirement solutions partner, is helping to leverage home equity as part of that financial planning conversation. So there's a whole variety of different areas in which my background has led me to where I am today, which I'm very grateful, and is giving me the opportunity to continue partnering with financial advisors to offer strategies beyond traditional planning. So when we talk about this career, I don't know how often many of you might have thought, like, what does a stockbroker do? What does a financial advisor do? Are they, stock jockey? And what is an insurance salesman? So I don't know how many of you think of people playing golf with their clients, maybe sitting on a yacht with piles of cash. It's all this, predictive stuff that they share with us on TV, and what we think somebody is. That career path is. Is it a sleazy insurance agent trying to sell you the latest product? And is it, Leonardo DiCaprio sitting on top of his yacht, picking stocks and watching Bloomberg all day? And like I said before, when you think of sales, I personally did not want to be a salesperson. I was scared to death of commission only. I did not picture myself in sales. And thankfully, I ended up here anyway, because this is not what the career is about. The reality is it's hard work. It takes a lot of passion and dedication. But this is an opportunity for you to provide meaningful advice and to truly make an impact on the people that you're working with, to connect with them, to help them uncover what their goals are, to help ask questions, to learn what's important to them. How do they see their legacy? Helping people make their money last, helping them maintain a comfortable living. I think right now, clients and consumers and people in general are overwhelmed by the choices and of investments, insurance, and they need guidance, and they need your help to help point them in the right direction. And they need your help to uncover what they want, because sometimes they often don't know what they want. Yeah, I just want to retire. But what does that mean to you? So you truly have an opportunity to create a personal bond between you and your client, and build an entire relationship that is far beyond just financial planning, because you are going into every aspect of the client's life, whether or not it's their family, their business, and their extended family, generations after this. There's so much more to this than just simply, buying a stock or bond or an investment, or just, buying life insurance. There's so much more to it. Um, and I put this on the screen because when you look at the information on financial planning, insurance planning, there's so many areas here, so many. But you don't have to you don't have to be an expert in all the areas. And that's the great thing about this business. If you can choose to focus on one area, two areas, you can, and you can choose to become like a specialist in that area. You are the expert in that area. Or you can focus on all these areas if you want, and you can rely on other people to be your specialist, to be the expert in a particular area, and partner with other people that might focus on insurance if you want to do the financial planning. So there's so many aspects of this career that you could really make an impact on. Just a matter of trying to find out what feels most comfortable for you and what you think is going to work for you. So let's talk about some of the challenges. And then I want to talk about some of the opportunities. Things have changed over the years, and they're going to continue to change. I think this profession is becoming more sought after. There's more options now than there ever was before. But that doesn't say that being and choosing your direction isn't going to be challenging. There's going to be challenges. I'm going to list a couple of these challenges with you today so you are prepared for them. But with these challenges, it can also be rewarding. So I want you to see both sides of the spectrum, because it requires you to have an understanding of these challenges and how financial markets and products and how complex concepts can be for clients. But I think it's also important to understand that you're able to build trust with them and help clients manage their expectations. So, I think we're going through a shift, and meaning this industry is going through a shift. It's a generational shift. We're going through those that have been in practice for a while and bringing on new junior partners and planners and advisors. And it's happening, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. At least for some of us, it's not happening fast enough. So it can be easy to lose sight of the big picture. But I want you to think about the fact that we've got, in the past, like I said, we didn't have degrees offered in schools for financial planning, but there are more than, not quite 100,000, but I know there's more than 80,000 CFP professionals, certified financial planner professionals designations. And the number of graduates like yourselves that are going through, financial programs, or CFP programs, or financial planning programs. There's more and more popping up, just like Slippery Rock has a focus in this, but there's just not enough. There's still small numbers, but the good news is we're growing. So let's talk about some of the challenges that you're going to face. Compensation. I know this can be nerve-wracking. It was definitely something that I was really nervous about. Salary versus commissions or fees. What does it look like? So it's important to know compensation, because this is our career. This is how we're going to eat, right? This is our career path. We need to know how we're going to pay. We have to pay bills. So it's important to know how we're compensated, but the compensation also impacts the services that you offer. So it's important to know about how you're going to get paid, but when you first get in the business, but it's also important to know how that payout also impacts the strategy and the focus and the area that you're gonna focus on. So the impact to the services and products that you're going to offer. Some companies will offer salary. Some companies will offer a draw, meaning they give you kind of like a salary, but you've got to make that up with certain production numbers. So they give you a little bit, and you work towards meeting or exceeding those numbers to gain even more income, but they'll kind of give you an upfront amount of money first. Some compensation is based on the sales or assets that you bring in. So all of this could vary based on what area you want to focus on. So it can be challenging to figure out, especially when you're new to the industry, how am I going to get paid, and what area of industry I'm even thinking of going into. So that can be challenging. But on the opportunity side is once you have figured out and you feel comfortable, and it might take you a couple times, like myself. I wasn't quite comfortable with sales, and then I went into sales and then realized, what was I thinking? I can't go back. And so it's important to know that once you figure out where you're going to be, that this is an unlimited pay potential. You know, if you are paid, whether or not it's based on fees or commissions or assets or product sales, you have the ability to make as much or as little as you want. This could be a side job for you, although, you know, or you can work on this full time and this could be your main focus. It's unlimited pay potential. And I think that's important, especially for you women who are on here. They always talk about this gender pay gap and how women earn like 85%, 85 cents for every dollar I think men earn. These gender pay gaps, I don't personally see an issue here because I have found that the compensation structures pay the same no matter what your gender is. So, you know, as long as you want to work hard and you can get paid as much or as little as you want, the pay is unlimited. So I think that's a huge opportunity here to think about when you're thinking of these challenges and questioning the compensation. So network. Who are we going to call? Like how am I going to obtain my clients? Where am I going to find my business? So it can be challenging because you typically don't have an established network. You don't have clients that are given to you. So you've got to go out and prospect. You've got to get out and meet people. So how do we do that? How do you market yourself? Again, all of this can be some of the challenges that you're going to, you may come across. Most advisors have target markets. So when we talk about having to build our network, we are in a time when we have aging advisors, meaning advisors that have built their practice and they're working just because they love to work, not because they have to. And they've got an enormous amount of clients that they work with. They're looking for junior people to bring on. They're looking for a succession plan. They're looking for someone to bring them new ideas. They are sitting on a practice and they're out the door, 1 foot out the door. They're ready to retire. So we have advisors that are willing to help, bring you into this business. Another thing with opportunities is most advisors have target markets. So there's an area that they specialize in, like business owners, seniors, retirement, 401ks, rollovers. You know, there's people that change their jobs constantly and they constantly open up a 401k and they have multiple 401ks open up. They need someone to help consolidate those. So it's not, they have a specialized area, but it could be a specialized type of profession. Like they might focus solely on physicians or attorneys or an area that may open up a door for you. So these aging advisors or seasoned advisors may have already paved the way for you to kind of come up and be mentored and help within their business and their practice so you can learn about some of these target markets and areas to focus in. Any questions so far? Any thoughts? So regulatory environment might be a challenge for you right now. It's changing. It's becoming more and more difficult to do business because there are more regulations. There's more paperwork to do. There's more requirements, more compliance, more protections are put in place for clients. I mean, this is why we have these regulations, because honestly, there's probably just a couple of bad eggs out there, but given the industry, most of the industry is doing the right thing and doing what's in the best interest of their clients. But we still have to have protections in place for our clients. So that's why we have regulations. And again, being part of NAIFA, we are on top of a lot of these regulations. Is it good for our consumers or is it bad for the consumer? Is it good for us as advisors and as agents, or is it bad for us as advisors and agents? And how is this going to impact Main Street? How is it going to impact our clients? So it's important for us to be on top of these regulations, but they can be a challenge, which is one of the reasons why it is so important to be a member of organizations like NAIFA to help with some of these challenges. But along with that comes opportunities, because right now we've got 4 million people that are turning age 65 every year. And that's about 11,000 birthdays every day for the next year of people turning age 65. So we are in an environment right now where, just the environment in general, are they saving enough for retirement? Do they have enough income to help them maintain themselves during inflation right now? Do they have things like pensions? Do they have health issues? Do they have Social Security, Medicare? There's rising debt. Are they paying down their expenses? What is this going to look like over the next 10 to 12 years? So things are constantly changing, and so are the opportunities. And I feel like more and more people are going to need your expertise and your help. Technology can be challenging. Technology, people are worried that it's replacing us, and in many ways, it's provided more information to people, but I believe it's also provided more confusion. So they need the personal touch. So I think technology can be both a challenge and an opportunity in a sense. Are we harnessing technology with what we're doing? You could bring a lot of that new technology experience to some of these senior advisors that are still working on old systems. And believe me, there's a lot of them. So they need your help. So getting them up to date, giving them new ideas on how to kickstart, new business coming in. You could bring a lot to the table using technology in ways that some experienced advisors are not using, or maybe using, but not using it to its fullest potential. So there's a lot you can bring to the table that would help advisors think of their business differently and help you kind of come up and be of value to them. Demands, markets are cyclical, up, down. It's constantly going to be changing, and managing fears and emotions for clients during times is going to be up and down. So it's important to maintain communication and also have the ability to get in front of, to stay in front of your clients, and especially during down times in the market. So that can be challenging. One of the things that I put as an opportunity with this is that you have a lot of flexibility. Actually, flexibility could probably be both a challenge and an opportunity, but there's a balance between work and personal life. And there can be a challenge on trying to separate the two, but starting a career in this industry gives you a lot of flexibility to do things that a typical 9-to-5 career would not allow you to do. This industry, just like starting your own business, I mean, this industry is no different. So I think that could be good or bad. Confidence and experience. Again, most people are coming out of college and education, especially getting degrees in finance, and you've got all this knowledge, but you just don't have the experience behind it. And you may not have the confidence because you just haven't had the opportunity to have the experience yet. So that can be a challenge, but I will urge you to really consider continuing your education beyond the university, and getting things like degrees and certifications, and getting involved in organizations that allow you to network and meet other people, so you can get interactions and hear other stories and see what other people are doing, so you can get that build that confidence. And we'll talk about helping you build experience in just a little bit too. So from career to college, or sorry, from college to career, opposite way around. So we're taking the next step. How difficult is it to be in this industry? It can be very difficult to get in. It can be very difficult to maintain, but once you're in, it can provide you with a nice lifestyle. But getting established can be pretty brutal sometimes. So don't let this, be prepared for this. Be prepared for some of the challenges that we talked about. Be prepared with how to, find out how to overcome some of these challenges. Some of the things you might want to think of to help you along with that transition and to make it as smooth as possible would be to build experience. How do you do that when you haven't had the job yet? So intern. There's plenty of people looking for interns to hire. You can get a look and feel of what that environment looks like. I would encourage you to look. You could look at the same company. It just one environment might be different at a company. it doesn't have to be that the company is exact, so it's all about the environment and of course what their focus is. So they're going to help you build, skills that you may not have had the opportunity to learn in school, like problem solving and working within a team, teamwork, leadership, some of these skills that can be found on job in the career. Obtaining licenses. What type of licenses? Is this insurance license? Are you going to need to get securities licenses? Any other type of licenses? So what licenses will you need for the folk and the career that you want to focus on? Earning designations. So that would be CFP, Certified Financial Planner. Some of you might be in a CFP financial course. This could be other designations. I personally have, after my last name, I have CLU, which is Certified Life Underwriter. I also have LUTCF, and LUTCF was a Life Underwriting Training Council. And this is a designation that, again, you can work on with organizations like NAIFA. That was probably one of the best designations I got to kind of kickstart me into the career. And I'll tell you why, because it allowed me to look at existing clients I was working with. It allowed me to go over real case studies with a professor, with my peers, and talk about, could I say this differently? How can I prospect? How do I get in front of more people? What kind of conversations can I have to get them from a relationship out and about into sitting down in the chair and talking about their finances? That was probably one of the most valuable first designations that I got. And I think you'll find that a lot of people agree with that, but everyone has different courses, and CFP obviously is one of the most prominent designations out there, and prestigious designations. And it does take a lot of work and effort and study time to obtain, and is looked upon as one of the highest designations to achieve. So good job for those of you that are going after that designation. And if you're not, maybe it might be one you might want to consider. Find a mentor. So finding a mentor in the business will help you to learn under them. You can learn from their mistakes. Any one of the people here at NAIFA that you're going to meet over the next 4 weeks are willing to open up their time to you to help, be a sounding board, your concerns, your hopes, your dreams, whatever you want to talk about. We could be someone to help you with that. But there are so many other people. I would suggest maybe looking through, LinkedIn, and just looking at what type of career do you want and who is out there doing that. Maybe that's somebody you might want to reach out to and connect with. If you ask them, and be mindful of their time, I would hope that most of them would be open to at least giving you some time on their calendar. Education, continuing education, that is also very important. You're always learning in this industry. Things are always changing. So it's important to continue your education and get connected. Like I said, getting connected with all of us here at NAIFA, but also getting connected with your local leaders, and even your professors within the universities are connected with other local leaders in the industry. So get connected, get out, meet people, have coffee, do a little bit more than just connect online. That's also important, but it's always great to meet eye to eye and shake hands. So get connected and meet other people in the industry. So where are we going to work? So there's a lot of different areas. I'm going to highlight just a few, but insurance agencies, independent broker-dealers, banks like, you see a local bank, could be a big bank like SunTrust or Wells Fargo. Wirehouses would include companies like, Merrill Lynch, UBS, Morgan Stanley. National broker-dealers would be Ameriprise, Raymond James. Independents would be LPL, Cetera, Commonwealth, and direct channels like Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard. So there are obviously a lot of different places to work and different careers. Maybe they all align and they kind of overlap in some areas, but then they also have different focuses. So it's important to maybe connect with people that are part of some of these companies to see what is their role and what did their career path look like. So some of the sales options that we're looking at, I just wanted to narrow down on a couple of individual ones. Now, there's a lot of other areas, like I mentioned with my career path, from internal wholesaling, external wholesaling, support roles, but let's just look at the sales for right now in these options. So people often confuse financial advisor and financial planner. They, like I said, they could overlap with some of their roles, but there are some similarities, but there are key differences. You know, a financial advisor is typically helping those manage money, manage their money while and maybe selling products or solving a need with a product. But financial planners are more personalized financial path for their clients, including maybe estate planning, saving for college, budgeting. They look at a more holistic approach. And I think the industry is going the way more of financial planner. And we'll talk about the roles and different roles for compensation and why that matters. But they are very closely related. Just know that there are some differences. And you might not really quite to understand that until you start getting into this industry. But insurance, I would say advisors operate slightly different versus planners, which are mostly paid based on a fee to perform related tasks, not necessarily buying and selling products. So insurance agent is another one. Insurance could be so much more than just life insurance, but we'll talk about that too. Let's see. So the insurance. When we talk about insurance, we talk there's so many different areas, whether or not you're talking commercial, individual, employee benefits, but we can break things down into a couple of key areas: property and casualty, which would include things like, you know, State Farm, you know, being able to cover car insurance, homeowners insurance, business insurance, life insurance, which would include, you know, term, permanent, whole life, hybrid, just a bunch of different other types of life insurance. And then accident and health, this would be things like disability insurance, long-term care insurance, critical illness. That could include things like AFLAC or medical insurance as well. And then let's go back to the financial advisors. So financial advisors. So whether or not you're considering, when you're considering, I guess, what area that you want to go to and specialize in, financial advisors are helping clients with investment, retirement planning, estate planning, taxes. There's a lot of different areas, but they can be tied to a broker dealer. So this would be where they're securities licensed. They are with the regulatory organization FINRA. They're under FINRA, and they get a securities license, mainly Series 7, and a couple of other series license that are based on your state. But they're going to mainly focus on helping clients plan for long-term certain goals to help them if their goal is investing, or their goal is planning for a budget or savings plan or investment strategy, retirement. They're going to help monitor your clients, their clients' goals, and keep them on target for meeting them. And a registered investment advisor, they're actually regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and they don't have that. You don't necessarily, you may have a securities license for state associated securities license for overall or financial planning. So you're definitely going over your goals, monitoring financial accounts, marking what changes need to be made, answering questions in risk and analysis for anywhere from retirement to college planning, even death of a spouse. But they're making recommendations also based on fee-based commissions as well. Any questions so far? Are we on track with some of the areas that you're looking for? So people, I guess, can often, again, confuse fee only, fee based. So there are not only commission-based products, but financial planners have the ability to earn both commission and fee-based products. This is important because the role that your commissions play impacts the type of planning that you're providing to your clients. So people often confuse, again, the difference between the two. Like I said, there's a lot of similarities, so it can be a little bit confusing, but a financial planner is helping people with more than just, they're not just buying a product. They're looking holistically at at a whole level approach of all of their assets. I believe the industry is really pushing their way towards going to that more holistic planning, more personal based, more a combination of both. But I think the fee based or fee only directions are where a lot of the industry is kind of taking going towards, because advisors might get paid higher upfront commissions where planners might be apt to receive higher trailing commissions or fees based on the assets that they're bringing in. I know this can be really confusing, but does anybody have any questions or thoughts? Have they considered one or the other of these career paths or professions? No questions, really? All right. So, and if you don't feel like talking, that's fine. Feel free to chat in the box or reach out afterwards too. So some of the things I want to leave you with today are some tips that, take what you need, leave the rest. But I feel like when you're going to be focusing on working with clients and focusing on building a business in this career, there's so many different areas to go. So I would also encourage you to ask those individuals that are already in the business, what was their best key takeaway, or what key takeaway would they like to see you leave with from the meeting that you're having with them? So tips that I would suggest that have personally helped me is building relationships. It's all about who you know, building those relationships with who you're doing business with. If you're in the community, are you working with nonprofit areas? Are you giving back? Are you volunteering? How are you building those relationships? I would say the more you give, the more you will receive. And the more you give without expectation of receiving, I believe you really receive. Because as long as you're giving wholeheartedly with passion and giving back to the community, I believe relationships build holistically from that. Personally, I have made so many of my closest friends have just been being in this industry and meeting other people. And a lot of that has to do with NAIFA, because I've been so involved over the years that, these are my friends. I consider them friends. So, but building relationships, whether or not you want to focus on doctors, lawyers, business owners, where can you get involved in the community to give back to these areas, and everything will come back to you. People can be emotional about their money. I think, and I'm sure you can agree, and you've probably experienced it before, either in families or friends, but, investing emotion or finances are emotional. And it's a big impact to individuals' lives. So it's important to be active with your listening. Ask questions, be aware, listen for key terms, key things that are concerning for individuals that are working within whatever their goals are, their financial goals, whether or not it's trying to put a child through college, or it's just saving for their own retirement, or it could be just trying to take care of their parents. Whatever is important to them, it's important to listen and to know how to ask the right questions to get that information, to help them think about how to get that information and put it into clarity for themselves as well as for you. Excuse me. Master storytelling. Again, the emotional part ties into being able to connect emotionally with with your clients, and you could do that through stories. And if you don't have a story or a why of why you're getting into this business, or a passion for, and you haven't really figured that out yet, which is okay, because you will figure that out. But find a story to tell and be a master at being able to share that story, because it's not about the math. We can make the math work all day long, but clients have to feel comfortable and they have to feel that they want to do this. Because if they don't want to do it, no matter what you tell them, and you can show them documents and illustrations and charts all day long, but unless you're able to connect with them on a level where they get it, they may not make a decision. So it's important to be able to share, if it's not your story, share other stories of why there is an impact to that particular person you're talking to. Educate and serve. I believe I kind of mixed that up with a community service, but serving in your community is important. But being able to get out there and educate other people with the knowledge that you're learning and continue to be out there to provide that service to your community is important. Talked a little bit about passion. I feel like finding a niche is very important, because then you could be known as the subject matter expert in this particular area, or finding an area in which you want to focus on specifically will help you determining to keep your, keep everything focused from things getting out of hand, because it's such a large business, such a large industry. So when you find that niche and what works for you, that's find a couple of different things that you think might work for you, and get out there and start to try to test it out to see if it's a good fit for you. I would say invest in yourself always. Always invest in yourself, because you can only be, the more you invest in yourself, the better that you can be for your clients. And if you're investing in yourself, getting to be a part of organizations like NAIFA, whatever organization that might be important for you. But I personally invested myself with NAIFA, and I'm a better person personally as well as professionally because of it, because I'm surrounding myself by other individuals that are pillars within this community. They're great at they're legends in the industry. They're people that have passion, and I learn every time I'm able to be around them, which gives me the ability to give back to my clients. And give back, of course, the more you learn, the more you can give back. So again, all of this can kind of circle around with each other. But one thing I would say too is, which I didn't put on here, it just kind of came to me, is when you're talking with these thought leaders or local leaders that are in the community, or even just leaders in the industry, ask them what, you can ask them a ton of questions, but ask them what their favorite book is. Ask them what their favorite tip is and their favorite walkway. But ask what type of books that they think you should consider reading to help you along with this journey. So those are just a couple tips. I'm sure I could probably come up with more, but any questions or any thoughts from the information we shared? If you don't have any questions, oh, thank you, Jacob. And thank you for joining us. No, it's okay. You can be, the caps are fine. Shout at me all you want. Thank you. That's great. So if you don't have questions now, feel free. Thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Ativa. If something pops up later, feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, reach out on LinkedIn and connect. And I think you should do that for a lot of the next presenters that you're going to come across this next couple of weeks. So thanks, Zach. And thank you guys for joining me.
Thanks, Cheryl. And, I just want to echo that sentiment about reaching out to you and myself and some of the other people that are going to be presenting, because, we're all very friendly people. We don't bite. We're just happy to help and answer questions that you might have about the industry. So, yeah, appreciate everybody being on today, and looking forward to seeing you next week as well. And yeah, again, Cheryl, do you have your contact info up there on one of those slides?
I don't know that I did. No, I did not.
But you can throw your email in as well if anyone wants to reach out to you directly.
Yeah, I'm just gonna type it in here real quick. But if you guys, my last name is pretty easy to find online, so you can
absolutely
definitely find me out there. Just Google my name; you can't miss me. But here's my email address, and yeah, I'm hoping to see you guys all next week.
Awesome.
Thanks, Zach.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.